Listen carefully. Not every blessing needs an announcement. Not every miracle needs applause. And not every increase comes with permission to speak. When money comes from human effort, people boast. But when money comes from God, the wise become silent. Because divine provision is not noise, it is order. Some of you are asking God for financial breakthrough, but the first lesson heaven teaches before abundance is discipline of the mouth. God does not bless careless tongues with lasting wealth. Let me shock you with truth. The moment God blesses you, temptation comes dressed as excitement. You want to tell everyone, you want to show everyone, you want to prove something, but heaven whispers, be quiet, because what God gives quietly, the enemy tries to steal loudly. When God sends money, He is not just giving cash, He is testing character. Can you handle increase without arrogance? Can you stay humble when your account grows? Can you remain prayerful when pressure disappears? Many people lost God-given wealth not because of bad investments, but because of loose mouths and unwise hearts. Divine money carries a divine protocol. It demands wisdom. It demands stewardship. It demands silence. God does not bless you to impress people. He blesses you to fulfill purpose. That's why the truly wealthy in the spirit don't rush to display. They build quietly. They plan patiently. They give secretly. They move strategically. Let me tell you something deep. When money comes from God, it comes with instructions. If you don't listen, it won't stay. God will never pour abundance into a life that cannot protect it. That's why some people receive sudden money and suddenly lose peace. They gain wealth but lose sleep. They increase income but decrease wisdom. Why? Because silence protects blessing. The louder you become, the more targets you attract. The more you show, the more battles you invite. The more you explain, the more envy you awaken. Heavenly wealth is not loud, it is rooted. God prospers people who understand this truth. Money is a servant, not a master. A tool, not an identity. A responsibility, not a trophy. If God gives you money, don't let money give you pride. Stay wise, stay prayerful, stay grounded, stay silent, because what God builds quietly will last publicly. And hear this final truth that will shake you. God does not announce His blessings, He reveals them over time. If you protect what He gives, He will multiply it. If you honor what He entrusts, He will expand it. If you stay silent and wise, He will make you unstoppable. Divine money is not ordinary. It does not come with a manual that says, spend freely, boast loudly, or announce to the world. No, divine money comes as a test, a whisper, and a responsibility wrapped together. You see, God's blessings are not measured by the digits in your bank account, but by the discipline of your character. One moment you are praying, fasting, giving, believing, and the next, suddenly, the doors of abundance open. But if your heart is not disciplined, that very gift will slip away faster than water through your fingers. I want you to understand this truth today. Discipline is the currency that secures divine money. Let's take the first example. Imagine a young entrepreneur who suddenly receives a large investment for his business. Most people would run out and announce it on social media, throw a party, or buy expensive toys to prove that they have arrived. But a person with divine discipline waits. They calculate, they strategize, they invest in growth, not vanity. They keep their victory quiet because they know that the moment you announce what God has entrusted you with, you invite distractions, envy, and even sabotage. Discipline is patience, and patience protects blessings. Discipline teaches us that divine money is not just for spending, it's for fulfilling a purpose. Consider a woman who has been given a sudden inheritance. Some people squander it on short-term pleasure, luxury trips, designer clothes, or flashy cars, thinking money is to be enjoyed, not to be stewarded. But discipline reminds her that money is a tool, not a trophy. She sets aside for investment, charity, and growth. She does not let impulse steal her destiny. God's provision is smart, it comes with instructions, and discipline is the translator of those instructions. It's the bridge between having money and multiplying it in ways that align with divine will. Even in everyday life, discipline reveals itself in the smallest actions. Imagine a man who suddenly gets a raise at work. He now has extra income. Does he splurge on every whim, or does he prioritize bills, savings, and investments? Divine discipline whispers, handle this increase as if your life depends on it, because in some way, it does. When God gives you extra, it's not just for comfort, it's to prove that you can manage more. Discipline is saying no to things that tempt you, even when the temptation seems harmless. Discipline is setting boundaries in how we live, how we spend, how we think, and how we speak. Let's talk about relationships. Divine money often comes with relationships that will test your discipline. Friends, relatives, and acquaintances might suddenly want to connect with you, not because of you, but because of what you have. Discipline is saying no to foolish generosity that drains you, while still being kind and wise. It is understanding that stewardship includes protecting your finances, your energy, and your peace. Discipline is not coldness. Discipline is wisdom. It is the armor that allows divine money to multiply instead of vanish. Even in spiritual life, divine discipline shows itself. Someone may receive money from God, but without daily prayer, reflection, and mindfulness, that money can lead to arrogance, pride, or distraction from purpose. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you grounded. It is the ability to say, yes, I have received, but I am not above obedience, integrity, and humility. Discipline is recognizing that wealth is not an endpoint. It is a means to express God's goodness in the world. It's what separates those who are blessed temporarily from those whose blessings are eternal. Everyday examples keep reinforcing this. Picture a student who suddenly receives a scholarship or grant. Discipline means they do not misuse the funds on unnecessary luxury. They focus on studies, on building skills, on preparing for the next level. They understand that divine provision is conditional on responsibility. Or think of a household where the breadwinner gets an unexpected bonus. Discipline is ensuring that the family's needs are met, debts are managed, and savings are prioritized before indulgences take over. Every single act of careful, thoughtful management is a prayer answered. With multiplication, discipline also protects against the enemy's attack. When you handle divine money without wisdom, your heart becomes an open target for greed, envy, and mismanagement. You will see people trying to take what God has given you, sometimes through deceit, sometimes through temptation, sometimes through subtle manipulation. But a disciplined heart is like a fortress. It knows how to guard, how to plan, and how to act with intelligence. Divine money requires not just earning, it requires thinking, resisting, planning, and executing with wisdom. Let me hit this hard. Discipline is not convenient. It is not easy. It is inconvenient, demanding, and sometimes even lonely. The world wants to show off, to spend, to compare. But God wants quiet obedience, careful steps, and strategic thinking. It is discipline that turns a temporary gift into a lasting legacy. Every millionaire, every successful leader, every person who has kept divine provision knows this. It is not the money that makes you powerful. It is the discipline that keeps it, grows it, and multiplies it. Even in giving, discipline matters. Some people get blessed and give recklessly, hoping to show off generosity, but true divine discipline understands timing, wisdom, and alignment with purpose. You give not to be applauded, but to obey God, to impact lives, and to sow seeds that will return tenfold. Discipline shapes not only how you receive, but how you release. It ensures that divine money flows according to destiny, not ego. And here is the dialogue that will change how you see life. God, I thank you for this blessing, and I choose silence over display. I choose patience over haste. I choose wisdom over impulse. I will guard this gift with discipline so that it grows in ways you intend. I will not let pride, temptation, or pressure destroy what you have entrusted to me. this is the language of a disciplined heart. This is the posture of someone who understands that divine money is sacred, powerful, and transformative, but only if handled with discipline. Silence is more than the absence of words. It is a shield, a strategy, and a sacred weapon. When God moves in your life, when blessings come, when doors open that were once shut, the first instinct is to tell everyone, to boast, to validate yourself in the eyes of the world. But the wise know that silence is protection. It is the quiet space where God works unseen, where plans are solidified, and where enemies cannot find a foothold. In daily life, silence is armor for those who understand that not everything needs to be announced. Not every victory needs applause, and not every success deserves attention. Consider a young professional who has been promoted overnight. The excitement is natural. Friends, relatives, and colleagues clamor for news. But the wise worker remains quiet, strategic, and measured. They understand that speaking too soon can trigger jealousy, misinterpretation, and even sabotage. Silence protects reputation and opportunity. It protects your growth from the hands of envy and allows the fruit of hard work to mature in peace. Sometimes, the loudest victories are the ones that crumble the fastest. Even in finance, silence is a safeguard. Imagine receiving a sudden windfall, an unexpected bonus, or a miraculous debt cancellation. Some will shout from the rooftops, share on social media, and invite unnecessary attention. Silence, however, is the wise person's ally. It protects the blessing from hasty decisions, reckless spending, and the subtle eyes of those who might wish to exploit or manipulate. There is power in restraint. There is strategy in discretion. A silent heart is a fortress that the world cannot penetrate, and the enemy cannot predict. In relationships, silence protects your peace. When others provoke, criticize, or seek to manipulate, responding with noise or defensiveness often escalates conflict. The disciplined choice is silence, a refusal to engage in trivial battles. The quiet person keeps their mind sharp, their energy intact, and their heart focused on what truly matters. Silence does not mean weakness, it means sovereignty. It is the understanding that not every word is required to assert power. Sometimes, holding your tongue communicates strength louder than any argument ever could. Even in spiritual matters, silence is a shield. When God works miracles in your life, the divine instruction is often to remain quiet, to meditate, to pray, and to reflect. Too many people rush to testify prematurely, and what could have been a protected blessing becomes a battlefield of misunderstanding, envy, or spiritual attacks. Silence allows the unseen work of heaven to manifest fully. It keeps your spirit aligned with purpose, your mind clear of distraction, and your heart insulated from pride. In everyday life, silence is protection in the smallest things. A student receiving top grades does not need to boast to classmates. A friend experiencing a breakthrough does not need to explain it to everyone who asks. Silence shields from envy, reduces unnecessary questioning, and preserves dignity. The quiet person walks in power because their authority is internal, not reliant on external validation. They move undisturbed, unaffected by gossip, criticism, or opinion, because they understand that power is often silent. Even in business, silence protects strategy. A leader who knows the right move does not reveal plans prematurely. A CEO who understands the market keeps negotiations private. Silence is a tactical advantage. It prevents leaks, it controls the narrative, and it shields the outcome from sabotage. Every word spoken before its time can cost opportunities, contracts, or trust. The wise know that God often blesses silently, and those who emulate that divine restraint thrive in ways the impatient cannot imagine. Silence is also protection for mental and emotional health. When faced with challenges, provocation, or unfair treatment, responding immediately can escalate conflict or bring regret. Choosing silence allows the mind to process, the heart to heal, and the spirit to discern the right course. It is a form of self-defense, a protective measure against impulsive reactions that may damage relationships, reputation, or future opportunities. The strongest people are often the quietest because they understand that words carry power, and restraint carries even greater power. Let me speak directly to your soul. Silence is a covenant with God. It is the acknowledgement that some blessings, some victories, some financial increases are sacred. They are not for display. They are not for opinion. They are not for casual conversation. They are for stewardship, for prayer, for preparation. When you keep quiet, you are protecting not just your blessing, but your future. You are allowing God's plan to unfold without interference. You are showing that you understand the weight of what has been entrusted to you. Imagine the dialogue of a disciplined heart. Lord, I have received your provision. I have witnessed your favor. I will not shout. I will not boast. I will not argue. I will move quietly, wisely, and strategically because I understand that silence is protection. I will honor what you have given me by guarding it, managing it, and walking in it with wisdom. I will not allow pride, temptation, or distraction to compromise what you have ordained. I will be still and know that you are at work. This is the language of the soul that knows power is in restraint. This is the posture of a life that understands the divine rhythm, that what comes from God is sacred, and sacred things are often silent. Even in family matters, silence is protective. When inheritance, blessings, or opportunities arise, the quiet one observes, plans, and acts with foresight. They do not provoke disputes, invite jealousy, or reveal vulnerabilities. Silence becomes a tool of wisdom, a shield of peace, and a mechanism for long-term gain. Those who speak too soon, react too quickly, or announce prematurely often experience loss that could have been avoided. Silence safeguards not just the blessing, but the legacy, the relationships, and the integrity of the person entrusted. Everywhere you look, silence proves itself as protection. It is not passivity, it is strategy. It is not fear, it is wisdom. It is not weakness, it is divine strength. The quiet person carries an invisible power that the loud cannot comprehend. They walk with confidence, with foresight, and with peace, because they understand that silence is not absence, it is armor. It is the quiet preparation for what God will reveal in His timing, the shield that ensures that what is yours remains yours, untouched by greed, envy, or haste. God does not increase your capacity without first examining your character. Before He entrusts you with more, He tests you with what you already have. Many people pray for promotions, financial breakthroughs, or sudden opportunities, yet when they receive a small taste of what they asked for, they fail the test. God is not in a rush to bless incompetence or pride. He blesses responsibility, patience, and integrity. Every challenge, every delay, every restraint in your life is a divine test, a preparation to see if your character is ready for increase. Take the example of a young professional. They are talented, hardworking, and ambitious. They pray for a leadership role in their company. One day, they are given a small project with significant responsibility. Some will cut corners, boast prematurely, or manipulate outcomes to appear successful. But the wise understand that this small assignment is a test. It is a divine probe to see if they can manage pressure, lead with integrity, and handle responsibility without arrogance. Their character determines whether the promotion comes. God's blessings are conditional not on ambition alone, but on the maturity of the soul. In finances, the principle is the same. Someone may ask for a larger salary or a windfall, and God may first give them a small increase or opportunity. The test is how they handle it. Will they squander it on unnecessary luxuries, or will they save, invest, and use it wisely? Will they acknowledge God as the source, or will pride take root in their heart? God tests character before capacity because He wants to ensure that when the blessing comes, it is not lost through carelessness. He wants to see whether the person is patient, grateful, and disciplined. Even in personal life, God tests character. A person may pray for a happy marriage or healthy relationships. Before granting the desire fully, God places trials in the path. Small disagreements, misunderstandings, or moments that test patience and empathy. Some fail and let anger or selfishness dictate their reactions. Others respond with love, patience, and integrity. The ones who pass these small tests are the ones who will be entrusted with harmony, trust, and long-term blessings. Capacity is never increased without a foundation of tested character. Consider someone running a business. They pray for expansion, for a bigger client base, for more resources. God may first give them a challenging client, a tight deadline, or a difficult employee. These tests are designed to reveal whether their character can withstand pressure, make ethical decisions, and lead responsibly. Some will fail, cutting corners or compromising principles. But the ones who rise to the challenge demonstrate the readiness for growth. God will not hand over more if the character cannot handle it. He is looking for steadiness, not speed. In daily life, character is tested in small, often unnoticed ways. A student prays for scholarships or success in exams. God may place temptations, distractions, cheating, procrastination to see if the student will respond with integrity or compromise. The test may seem small, but it reveals the true nature of the heart. When the student demonstrates honesty, discipline, and perseverance, God rewards them with success that is sustainable, honorable, and transformative. Increase always follows tested character. Even in spiritual life, God tests character before increase. Someone may pray for anointing, wisdom, or influence. God may first allow misunderstandings, criticism, or even small failures to reveal the person's response. Some react with bitterness, defensiveness, or pride. Others respond with humility, patience, and faith. God watches how a person behaves when no one is applauding, when no one is watching, when the increase is not yet visible. The one who passes the unseen test is ready for public blessing, divine opportunities, and multiplied capacity. The principle applies to giving as well. A person prays for financial increase to be able to help others. God may first allow them to be tested with limited resources, a family member in need, or a sudden personal expense. How they respond, whether with generosity, faith, and wise management, determines whether God will entrust them with greater resources. Giving wisely and sacrificially is a test of character that precedes greater capacity to give, lead, and bless. Even in leadership, God tests character before capacity. A person may want to lead a team, a ministry, or a project. God may first place them in situations where their patience, humility, and wisdom are challenged. Some leaders fail small tests, allowing pride, anger, or insecurity to control decisions. Others rise above, maintaining vision, integrity, and compassion. God increases influence, authority, and responsibility only when character aligns with purpose. Leadership is a reflection of tested character. An untested character cannot sustain divine increase. Let me speak directly to your spirit. God wants to see your heart before He expands your life. He wants to observe how you handle small blessings, how you respond to obstacles, and how you treat others when nothing is gained in return. The dialogue in your soul must be, Lord, I accept this trial. I will respond with integrity. I will not compromise. I will act with wisdom. I will honor you in the little things, so that you can entrust me with the greater. This is the posture of the wise. This is how divine increase is prepared. Even in everyday interactions, God tests character. How you handle criticism, provocation, or even simple inconveniences reveals your readiness for more. A small act of patience, humility, or ethical decision-making is proof to God that your heart is ready. The more you pass these tests faithfully, the more He can entrust you with capacity, financial, spiritual, emotional, or relational. God multiplies those who demonstrate tested character, because increase without readiness leads to destruction, not destiny. Wisdom keeps wealth, excitement exposes it. Many people fail to understand this simple but profound truth. Money, blessings, opportunities, these are tools, not trophies. When excitement overtakes wisdom, people make impulsive decisions, overspend, misinvest, or reveal their blessings to those who would exploit them. But the disciplined, the wise, the patient, they know that wealth is not measured by how fast it comes, but by how long it lasts. Excitement without wisdom is like fire without boundaries. It burns everything in sight. Consider a young entrepreneur who suddenly lands a major client. The excitement is natural. Friends call, relatives inquire. Social media notifications explode. Most people immediately celebrate with extravagance, announcing their success to the world, buying luxury items and showing off. But the wise entrepreneur steps back. They create a plan, evaluate the clients, secure the contracts, and save for growth. They understand that excitement reveals vulnerabilities, creditors, opportunists, and envious eyes. Wealth protected with wisdom multiplies. Wealth exposed in excitement disappears. Even in personal finance, this principle is evident. Imagine receiving a sudden bonus or windfall. Excitedly, someone may splurge on immediate gratifications, luxury items, fancy vacations, or impulsive investments. But the wise pause, think strategically, and allocate resources to savings, long-term investments, and debt clearance. They understand that God's provision is sacred, and their response determines its longevity. Excitement exposes. Wisdom protects. Excitement attracts danger. Wisdom creates security. In relationships, the same principle applies. When people suddenly rise in status, influence, or wealth, excitement tempts them to associate with the wrong crowd, to boast, or to trust blindly. But wisdom discerns character. The wise person does not allow sudden elevation to compromise judgment. They observe, pray, and act selectively. Excitement without wisdom exposes vulnerability, while wisdom maintains boundaries, ensuring that growth is sustainable and blessings remain protected. Even in business, excitement can destroy fortunes. A company may receive a lucrative contract or a sudden investment. The inexperienced may overspend, hire hastily, or expand recklessly, believing the excitement is a guarantee of continuous growth. But the prudent CEO understands that wealth must be nurtured carefully. They create strategic plans, build teams thoughtfully, and manage resources with discipline. Excitement exposes greed, impatience, and impulsive action, while wisdom secures legacy, stability, and influence. In daily life, small examples reveal the same truth. A student gets excellent grades, and excitement tempts them to neglect study discipline, believing they have arrived. But wisdom says, keep learning, keep consistent, keep humble. A sudden scholarship or prize can expose a lack of preparation, overconfidence, or irresponsibility if excitement takes control. The wise student invests the reward in personal growth, skill development, and long-term success. Excitement may feel good in the moment, but wisdom guarantees future impact. Even in giving, excitement can mislead. Some people receive an increase and, in the thrill of abundance, give recklessly without planning. Others, guided by wisdom, discern how to give strategically, maximizing impact while maintaining stability. They understand that generosity aligned with prudence does not diminish wealth, but multiplies it. Excitement exposes impulsiveness. Wisdom preserves and amplifies purpose. Consider spiritual life. When God opens doors, provides blessings, or elevates someone in influence, excitement tempts premature exposure, announcing success, seeking validation, or indulging in pride. The wise understand that divine favor works quietly. They wait, prepare, and act with strategy. Excitement exposes intentions, tempts arrogance, and invites spiritual attacks. while wisdom keeps the soul grounded, the heart humble, and the blessings protected. Even in family life, wisdom keeps wealth. Imagine receiving inheritance, a bonus, or financial support. Excitement may tempt one to spend recklessly, create conflict, or trust too freely. Wisdom advises caution, planning, and selective disclosure. Wealth secured with wisdom grows. Wealth exposed in excitement vanishes quickly. The pattern repeats in every area of life, health, relationships, influence, and spiritual gifts. Excitement reveals weakness. Wisdom creates strength. Dialogue with your soul must be deliberate. Lord, I feel the thrill of your blessing, but I will not let excitement dictate my choices. I will pause, plan, and act with wisdom. I will not expose what you have entrusted to me. I will protect this gift, manage it carefully, and multiply it according to your will. I will let prudence guide my steps so that this wealth becomes legacy, not temptation. This is the heart of discipline, the language of the prepared, the posture of the truly blessed. Even small moments this truth. A sudden compliment, recognition, or public praise may tempt you to overextend, overpromise, or overexpose yourself. The wise pause, act with strategy, and honor the responsibility of influence. Excitement is temporary, wisdom is eternal. Those who master this principle turn fleeting blessings into long-term abundance, ensuring that the favor of God is multiplied rather than squandered. Excitement may feel powerful, but wisdom safeguards destiny. Finally, everyday choices reflect this principle. How you manage time, resources, speech, and influence when success first arrives sets the tone for all future growth. Excitement may tempt you to rush, overshare, or indulge. Wisdom compels you to pause, reflect, and act with intentionality. The difference between someone who rises and falls and someone whose wealth endures is often a single moment of disciplined restraint. God blesses abundance, but wisdom ensures its protection. Money from God is not just currency, it is responsibility, it is stewardship, it is sacred trust. Every dollar, every blessing, every financial increase that comes directly from divine provision carries instructions. God does not give blindly, He gives with intention, purpose, and expectation. The problem is, most people fail to recognize these instructions. They treat divine money like ordinary money, spending without thought, boasting without wisdom, or investing without guidance. The moment you ignore the instructions, the blessing departs as quickly as it arrived. Consider a small business owner who suddenly receives a substantial order that could change the trajectory of their company. God has given this opportunity not merely as profit, but with instructions: manage it wisely, honor commitments, pay employees fairly, and invest in growth. Some may be tempted to pocket the earnings or overspend recklessly. The instructions are ignored, and soon the order disappears, the clients leave, and the blessing is gone. Divine money is obedient money. It listens, it aligns, it follows God's guidelines, and only then does it multiply. Even in personal finance, God's money comes with instructions. Imagine receiving a bonus, an inheritance, or a sudden windfall. There is an expectation: save, invest, give, and spend with discernment. But excitement or ignorance can lead people to spend impulsively on fleeting pleasures, luxury items, or to impress others. In such cases, the money does not last, it leaves. The divine principle is clear. Money from God responds to discipline, faithfulness, and obedience. Ignore these, and it slips away, taking with it the opportunity for long-term stability and growth. In relationships, divine money also comes with unseen instructions. If God blesses you financially, there will be people who come into your life needing support, opportunities to bless others, and responsibilities to protect. Some ignore these subtle instructions, thinking money is only for themselves. Excitement, pride, or selfishness blinds them. The money may multiply briefly, but without obedience to God's guidance, it quickly disappears, leaving lessons learned the hard way. God's blessings are not just about accumulation. They are about alignment, intention, and faithful execution. Even in spiritual life, God's instructions are clear. Money received through divine favor is a tool to honor God's work. Tithing, supporting ministries, helping the poor, and contributing to community impact are often part of the unseen instructions. Some ignore these acts, thinking the blessing is theirs to hoard or indulge. Excitement or entitlement clouds judgment. The result? The blessing departs. Money from God demands obedience, and obedience ensures continuity and multiplication. In daily life, instructions are sometimes subtle. A person may receive an unexpected gift, a financial opportunity, or a contract. God speaks through intuition, counsel, and timing. Some listen, some ignore. Those who heed the guidance plan wisely, manage carefully, and act strategically. Those who ignore it squander, mismanage, and lose what was entrusted to them. Divine money is not passive, it is responsive. It flows where it is honored and departs where it is neglected. Even in business partnerships, God's instructions are evident. A new investor or client may appear as a blessing. God's instructions often manifest as the need for honesty, integrity, and careful planning. Those who ignore these principles may gain temporarily but will soon experience collapse, disputes, or lost trust. The money leaves because divine provision requires cooperation with divine guidance. Excitement may tempt the heart, but wisdom ensures alignment, protection, and growth. Consider families receiving inheritances or financial support. Instructions may be financial planning, budgeting, saving for future generations, or assisting those in need. Some ignore these instructions, spending recklessly or creating conflicts. The blessing leaves, leaving only regret. God's money is never simply given, it comes with purpose and expectation. It demands obedience, discernment, and strategic thinking. Dialogue with your soul must be intentional. Lord, I thank you for this provision. I will not treat it as ordinary money. I will seek your guidance, follow your instructions, and manage this blessing with care. I understand that divine money requires obedience. I will honor it, steward it, and use it as you intend. I will not allow excitement, pride, or ignorance to squander what you have entrusted to me. This is the heart of a disciplined steward, the posture of a faithful recipient, the pathway to multiplying divine favor. Then in everyday decisions, the principle is the same. Buying, selling, investing, saving, giving, each financial move carries instructions from God. Ignoring these may seem harmless at first, but it leads to depletion, regret, and missed destiny. The wise recognize that God's money is sacred, that it requires attention, alignment, and obedience. It is a covenant, not a casual gift. Money from God is faithful to those who are faithful to it. It leaves those who ignore its instructions. Excitement often blinds people to these instructions. They see the blessing, not the responsibility. They celebrate, not plan. They spend, not steward. But wisdom, patience, and obedience secure the blessing. The divine principle is simple yet profound. Obedience sustains. Ignorance squanders. Instruction multiplies. Neglect diminishes. This is the rhythm of God's provision. Those who master it walk in abundance that lasts, impact that multiplies, and wealth that fulfills destiny. Listen closely, because this is the truth that will change the way you think, the way you act, and the way you receive blessings from this moment onward. Money from God is sacred. It is not ordinary. It is not for show. It is not for validation. It is a gift that carries responsibility, purpose, and divine instructions. And here is the key. The moment you treat it carelessly, boast recklessly, or ignore its divine guidance, it slips through your fingers like water. But the moment you respond with wisdom, patience, and discipline, it multiplies beyond imagination. Remember this, the world will tempt you to speak loudly, to display your victories, to chase applause. But God whispers, be silent, build quietly, guard what I have given you. The wise do not rush to show off. They move with strategy, integrity, and faith. They understand that excitement is temporary, but wisdom preserves. They know that every blessing is a test. Every increase is a call to character, and every opportunity is a reflection of how prepared they are to steward what God entrusts. Let me remind you today, what God gives quietly is more powerful than what the world celebrates loudly. Your neighbor may flaunt success and yet crumble under envy, greed, and mismanagement. But you, the one who moves with discretion, who listens to God's instructions, who builds quietly, will see the fruit of your labor endure. Prosperity that is nurtured in silence lasts, grows, and blesses beyond measure. You are not called to impress people. You are called to honor God, protect your blessings, and multiply them with wisdom. And do not forget this, your character is the foundation of your capacity. God tests before He increases. The trials, the delays, the small setbacks, they are not punishments, they are divine evaluations. How do you handle small blessings? How do you manage ordinary resources? How do you respond when no one is watching? Your answers determine how much God will entrust to you. Do not despise the small beginnings. The largest victories are built quietly, patiently, and faithfully. You must declare this in your heart. I will be disciplined. I will be wise. I will remain silent when the world screams. I will follow your instructions, Lord, even when it is inconvenient, even when it is unnoticed. I will honor every blessing, steward every increase, and protect what you have entrusted to me. Speak it boldly, because your words of obedience will unlock the multiplication of your blessings. Your faithfulness in small things will open doors for the impossible. Here is the truth that will shake your soul. Loudness attracts attention, but quietness attracts destiny. Bragging invites envy, humility invites favor, impulsiveness invites loss, wisdom invites growth. When you learn to guard your blessings with discipline, build quietly with patience, and obey God's instructions faithfully, you will experience prosperity that not only lasts, but transforms your life and the lives of everyone around you. Today, choose the path that few walk. Choose silence over noise, wisdom over excitement, discipline over indulgence, obedience over convenience. Do not chase temporary recognition. Chase divine alignment. Let your prosperity be a testimony not of ego, but of integrity, patience, and faith. Build quietly, steward faithfully, obey diligently, and watch God multiply what no one else can touch. And in the quiet, you will hear the whisper of God say, "This is yours, because you have honored me. You have kept faith when it was hard. You have been patient when it was tempting to boast. You have been wise when it was easy to squander." This is your season of multiplication. This is your time of breakthrough. This is your legacy in motion. Take these words into your life, meditate on them daily, and act on them relentlessly. Let your blessings be hidden, your character be tested, and your obedience be visible to heaven, not the world. The world will envy, the world will talk. But you, the wise steward, the silent builder, the faithful one, will rise higher than they can ever imagine, because God's money, God's favor, and God's prosperity are unstoppable when they are handled with wisdom, discipline, and obedience.